Your mind is how you perceive reality. It's not the world, it's not the things around you, it's your own brain. So if we transfer brains right now, we will act completely different. It's not about your actual body or anything. The reason why you'll see someone you want to talk to and you won't, and I'll see that same person and I will. The only difference is because, from my perspective, I've already talked to so many people that I know if I talk to him, it's going to end up well, and I kind of have a level of charisma and social calibration, and I know what to say generally. And you have no idea what to say. You feel like you're going to mess up, and you don't know how this guy will react, right? You don't have enough personal experience. Our brains have literally evolved to base things on personal experience, right? What has happened in the past, but if you have no actual experience of the past, then there's no way to know, right? So that's why I'll talk to someone and you won't. You can obviously improve on this. There's nothing stopping you from being more confident. Honestly, this is like an extreme way to become more confident, and I'm going to explain to you how I plan on mastering my mind. You might take something from this video, but honestly, I'm going to be completely transparent. This is just a really cool topic that I wanted to talk about for such a long time. I've been looking into it. It seems so cool. And this is a socializing channel. So of course, I'm going to try and bring it into socializing where it does actually work and it will make you way more confident. But also, I just really wanted to talk about it because I just want to master my mind in general. It seems so cool, it's so interesting, and I'm very passionate about this topic. First of all, I'm going to explain how you perceive reality. Because think of the world around you, right? We all look at it differently. And it's kind of interesting if you think about it. We could be in the same environment and we literally react completely differently. We could be in the same place, the same situation, the exact same things happening to us, right? Let's say we are both like being tortured. This is a bit of a crude scenario. Let's say we both got locked up, we got kidnapped, and we are being tortured and hit every day, right? And you're super depressed. It hurts so much. This is bad. This is really, really bad. I'm literally, I probably shouldn't be smiling whilst I'm describing this, but you get the point. You're like suffering. It's horrible. This is bad, bro. You're literally, you're suffering. You're being tortured. You don't know where your family is. You're in this foreign country, human trafficked. On the other hand, I'm not saying I can do this right now, but I'm just putting in the scenario. I'm gonna make myself look good, man. On the other hand, I'm here, I'm tortured, right? And I'm like, yes, I'm getting stronger. This guy is torturing me and my muscles are getting bigger because I'm getting better at resisting his attacks. This is amazing. And what's interesting? Because of my mindset, I'll actually survive for longer than you. So even though we are both being hit and we are malnourished and everything, I'll survive longer than you because my body, my immune system will literally be stronger. I'm less stressed. I'm more happy and positive about the situation, and I'll survive more. Right? This applies to everything. There are homeless people who are literally more happy than you are, and they have better health despite eating worse food just because of their mindset. This is kind of obvious, but if you think about it, everything is based on how you see things in your mind. So even your eyes, right? You look at the world around you, it's all upside down. If you search this up, bro, everything that you look at with your eyes is actually, when the light bounces off of the object into your eyes, for whatever reason, your eyes perceive it as an upside down image, and your brain literally needs to work to flip it around. That's why you see the world the right side up. Think about that. If your brain decided to perceive it differently, everything would be upside down right now. Everything you perceive is literally based on your brain. And by that logic, if you can perceive things the way you want to, you can do anything you want. Your immune system to a degree, can literally be controlled by your brain. Of course, it is an automatic process, but by controlling your brain, you can simulate certain parts of the immune system to act in certain ways and literally control your internal body and your literal hormonal responses, bro, just by thinking. And I thought this was so interesting. So after getting off the call with my friend where we were discussing all of this, I was like, bro, I can't just let it end with this deep conversation and go about my regular life. I need to look at this. So I started researching, getting my glasses on, looking up all of this information. And I came across how it actually works. Neuroplasticity, how you can literally change your brain. Your brain can change in real time. So think about the fact that you could change your brain to perceive things the way you want. And by changing your brain and perceiving things the way you want, you can become immediately confident. There's no struggle, there's no difficulty. You just become confident instantly. Think about that. There's no struggle. There's no having to talk to so many people before you're confident. You just become confident because you want to, and you can change how your brain perceives things because you just have that level of control and mastery over your brain. And I'm telling you, bro, from what I've read, from what I've researched, it's possible. Now, again, I will give you this disclaimer. This is the entire process of mastering your mind. It's like something that gets strengthened over the span of decades, bro. So this is kind of a clickbait title, I know. But if you plan on becoming more confident and being really social without struggling or going out of your comfort zone or anything, and just never talk to anyone, and then one day you're suddenly like this Chad, to a degree you can do some of these tactics like imagery rescripting, which I talked about in another video. It can help, certainly, but this is a lifestyle thing that you need to do consistently for the rest of your life, basically. It's really not the best way to become more confident. If you really want to become confident and you want to become someone who's charismatic and you can do anything no matter the situation in more social contexts, then I'd recommend checking the top link in the description. I'm plugging my own products here. But really, it comes down to just talking to people, and you learn through trial and error. You can go through less trial and error by looking at people telling you where they went wrong and teaching you, which is kind of what I do. But besides that, this is it will help you, and if you master your mind, then of course you'll become more social and confident. But the reason I want to do this is more out of personal interest. It's not really to become more confident, although it can help with that and benefit you when it comes to that. So don't completely dismiss it, but don't expect it to be your saving grace. You've been socially anxious your entire life, and suddenly this new thing that this guy is talking about, it's going to save you, because it probably won't, and the effects are very gradual. So I looked at a few things, and bro, what I found was so interesting. So because of neuroplasticity, basically the fact that you can change your brain. You can literally change how your brain perceives things, how it's built, the neurons in your brain. Just like how learning, in a way, yeah, I think so. Learning itself is neuroplasticity. When you absorb new information, new neurons are literally created in your brain to store information. And this works with other things that you wouldn't really expect. So there's this thing, I'm gonna kind of go off on a tangent about different examples of this working, but there's this thing called lucid dreaming, and it's basically, you have dreams every night. In lucid dreams, you basically know you're dreaming. So in dreams, you're kind of going about it, you see flying pigs here and there, some guy is being murdered on the street, you're just walking, everything is normal. In a lucid dream, you're like, wait a second, no, pigs don't fly. What? And you realize, wait, no, this is a dream. And you can go off and do whatever you want. lucid dreams often barely last long, especially when you're new at least, because your brain literally can't handle them, because your prefrontal cortex is kind of slightly active as you're in a dream, which is in a way unnatural. It's not normal fully. So your brain can't sustain them for long, and oftentimes you'll just wake up immediately. You don't need to know anything about lucid dreaming, but the point is, after doing it for a while, your brain literally rewires itself to learn to sustain them for longer and get the fine balance between them and dreams and your prefrontal cortex. So lucid dreams will last longer just by doing them. Just like how when you do a new sport or play an instrument, you build muscle memory not through your muscles, no, through your brain. It's all in your head, bro. So your brain is literally your most powerful weapon, and it's stupid. I'm going to call you stupid if you don't think at all about gaining control of it. I'm not saying you need to go to these extremes, obviously, but I'm saying you have this powerful weapon, literally a nuclear weapon in your arsenal. No, more powerful than a nuclear weapon. And you aren't using it, and you don't even want mastery over it. You're just letting it sit and rust and dust for no reason, because it's a little bit hard. You need to spend like 30 minutes a day training it. That's kind of difficult. But isn't that kind of silly, bro? You have an entire lifetime to master this, and you just aren't, because it's kind of annoying to spend. I don't know. I think that's stupid, bro. No, I do know that is stupid. So I'm gonna be completely real with you. If you don't want to master your mind whatsoever, or learn more about it, bro, I don't know what you're doing, honestly. And if you're still watching, then I'm assuming you do, to some degree, want to do this, and it sounds interesting, and I'm explaining it in a cool, interesting way, or you think I'm just looking handsome. If you're a girl, just comment your number down below. You can't control what you do right now. You have urges. You want to scroll on social media, you want to do bad habits, you want to eat chocolate, and these things are bad for you. This kind of goes into self-improvement, so if you aren't into it, this may seem like I'm just telling you what to do, and I guess I am. You want to be healthy, right? You want to live like a good life where you're doing exactly what you want. And there are things you want to do or want to stop doing, and you literally can't stop them because you have a habit of doing it. You don't have control of your mind. You are literally the only creature on the planet who can override your instincts. Think of it. Every other animal on the planet, they all have to follow their instincts. If they see food, they immediately go and eat it. They literally can't control themselves. You are literally the only person, the only species on the planet who can say, no, you know what, I'm not eating that. And you just can't imagine that. You have this special ability, and you just haven't unlocked it. It's kind of funny. It's also kind of sad. But getting to this level where you can at least control your impulses, this is like level 1 actually. So it's not the most difficult. It is difficult. It's not like the highest tier. But I would start with doing that, even if you aren't doing anything to do with self-improvement, even if you don't care about that stuff, which I wouldn't agree with that. But even if you don't, learning to be able to do what you want is important, right? No matter who you are, you have things you want to do and you just can't. Maybe out of laziness, maybe out of having a habit so ingrained. This is basically the only real way to quit it, by gaining mastery over your brain. And by gaining mastery, you can do but I've been looking at some of these abilities, and I've seen examples of people literally using them, and it's so interesting. So, for example, I'm kind of looking at my screen for these full examples. I don't remember them off by heart. But there's this guy called Wim Hof, this guy who was, I remember watching a video on him. He has this like breathing technique. He goes in really cold places, and he was explaining how he never feels that cold, I think. And there was a study that was run on him. Let me see, where was this actually? Yeah, Radboud University. So these scientists, they injected Wim Hof and his students with this drug, E. coli. And normally it makes you feel sick and feverish and pretty bad. Wim Hof and his students, because they had this breathing technique, they started breathing in a certain way, which, what did they even do? The breathing wasn't the main thing I was interested in. That is obviously like a physical thing that changes you. Their breathing kind of gave them adrenaline because they were breathing in this certain way, which made their, I don't know how the breathing worked, but the most important part of it was the mind factor of it. They were imagining this like inner heat building up inside of them, and they got hotter. And because of that, their body temperature increased, their blood vessels dilated, allowing more immune cells to obviously pass through it and fight off this E. coli. And you'll notice a lot of these powers, like I'm gonna call them powers, by mastering your mind, by doing all of these, you will literally become a superhuman. And of course, don't like spend your entire life doing it. This is like a supplement to your life, not. There are weirdos, bro, who spend their entire lives like learning these powers and doing nothing else. And it's pretty useless, because what's the point of powers if you don't have a life to use them for? So this is a supplement, like 1 hour, 2 hours a day max. Don't like do nothing but focus on these and be like unemployed. But these are very, very interesting to see. There were these monks, what was it called, Tumor monks. So these monks, they were in this very cold place. It was 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and they used a similar technique. They didn't change their breathing, I don't think, but they were sitting in this very cold environment with these wet, cold like towels on their backs, and they literally dried the towels, not by like trying to squeeze them and find a way to dry them. No, they put the towels on their back, and they basically imagined heat, this inner energy traveling up their back, and their temperature rose in this 0 degree climate. Their temperature literally rose to 17 degrees. It rose 17 degrees by imagining. And because of that, they actually managed to dry the towels. And this is just something they do because they are monks. I don't think we'll get to that level if you're coming on this path with me. But I believe we can get to a degree where we can use these to our advantage. I don't really have a need to get 17 degrees hotter. But being able to visualize very vividly, that's like a huge factor of these powers. You can literally change the taste of food by nullifying tastes and amplifying tastes through visualization. So I was eating some spicy food this morning actually, and I was trying this technique. I was eating the spicy food, and whenever I'd noticed it was getting a bit spicy, instead of like drinking water, I don't drink milk, instead of like opening my mouth, no, I kept my mouth shut, and that hurt quite a bit. Like, I'm guessing you've had spicy food once. If you have, then you know that when you shut your mouth and you don't open it, it starts burning a lot. I did that, and I would imagine having like this ball of very cold ice on my tongue. I tried to, I closed my eyes, I tried to vividly imagine this ball of ice rolling down my tongue, the water melting off of it, numbing my entire mouth. And it didn't work completely because, of course, I'm not that good at visualizing yet. I've only began recently. But through doing this, I noticed it didn't burn as much as it would have before. Now imagine if you do like visualization techniques and you practice specifically to get your visualization so vivid to the point where you can do this in the blink of an eye without focusing much, and it just works intensely well. Now there's so many more examples and I really want to talk about them, honestly. Like, I'm very interested in this topic. But bro, we don't have enough time. There's like time distortion. You can literally dilate time, like make it longer, or compress it and make it shorter through like expanding your awareness. And there's exercises you can do by imagining and focusing on many senses at once, and it actually does work, and people have used this. Kind of like the same effect where if you're in a car crash, it seems like 10 seconds have passed when only like less than a second has passed, because your brain is in this really threat response mode and you absorb so much information. You can literally simulate that same response by increasing your awareness and paying attention to many details at once, to the point where you overclock your brain in a way. Or you can literally do the opposite. So let's say you're in a class and it's boring and you just want to skip the class time. You can literally dilate time and it goes by compress time, I mean. You can compress time and it goes by faster by basically emptying your thoughts, so your brain records less and there's less of a memory of the class. It's so interesting. We don't have enough time. This is literally a channel on socializing. I'm way off topic here. But the point is, if you master your brain, you can do whatever you want. That includes socializing, obviously. That includes all of that stuff. Confidence. You can obviously just snap your fingers and just become confident overnight if you get to that level. But that's a very distant level. It takes a lot of effort. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm going to do this. It would be nice if you went on this journey with me. You can give me like updates on how everything is going in the comment. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if I'll update you on this, because again, this is like completely different on what my channel is about. But I'm going to go about this by just trying each of these techniques. So first of all, I'm going to try like a group of 3 techniques for the next month or so. And then once I feel like it's kind of muscle memory, I'm doing it automatically, I've gotten the hang of it, does this work, does it not? Then I'm going to move to the next techniques while still doing these, so I don't forget about them. And I'm just going to keep building them up, doing these exercises 20, 30, 40 minutes a day. And before you know it, I'll just be a superhuman, bro. I'll absorb everything. I'll literally have like heightened awareness of my surroundings. There'll be someone behind me and I'll just know. They won't be making any sound. It'll be like a ninja trying to assassinate me. I just know the ninja is right there. I can just dodge its blade and just like punch him without even thinking, bro. Okay, that's a bit of an overstatement, but you get the point. It's really cool to do this. Try it. And I mean, check out the social protocol, get better at socializing, buy my course, bro. And remember, consistency is over a lifetime. Bye bye.